All right. Hey, Lou. Hey, Jabber, W-O-C-K-Y, Deacon, Tommy, my father. How are you guys doing? I got a new pedal. It's very exciting. I did a demo for it in Sweetwater and just came in the mail. It's the Ultraphonics HRM, which is totally different than the Ultraphonics, which has been my lead tone pedal for a while. The two cannot be more different, man. It's like that one is just a beautiful Marshall-y kind of boost. Check this out. This is my dirty channel with the lead tone I've been using forever, my Ultraphonics. It's really like, at low volumes it sounds a little grainy, but it opens up really nice. But check out the HRM. It's weird, through the dirty channel of the amp, they all sound a little grainy at this bedroom volume. But check it out with the clean channel. So, this is the HRM. New subscriber. Welcome, Jempy. And this is the Ultraphonics. It's clipping the mic a little bit. But it has more of a square wave kind of thing happening, like almost like a fuzz. Compared to this guy. Right? Hey, Dominique. I'm getting a distressed red custom Strat from Soar. But yeah, the mic's not doing it justice. It's clipping a little bit. 1 second. Let me put the IR a little bit higher. Hear that? Here's the lead channel again. That's the HRM. And here is that normal Ultraphonics. It's really dark and really kind of creamy. But you can still play chords. But the HRM just does something totally different. It's glassy and Marshall-y. I also made a big change in my board, in the way it's set up. Let me show you. So, up till now, the way I ran it is in this camera. You see that the farthest to the right toggle switch, this guy right here, number 7, used to do the channel switching in my amp to change the boost on the dirty side of the amp, but I decided that I didn't ever like that amp's boost, so what I do now is I have the steel string, which is right there on, well, can't really see it. Right there. that one right by the tuner. So that thing in my amp now is doing the toggling. It turns the steel string on and off on any one of my distortion pedals, to just push it like way into shred land. So check this out. This is like the Ultraphonics with the steel string after it. So that's in that infinite sustain land of guitaring. All right. Does rosewood or maple fretboard matter in terms of sound? I always feel like it does. I don't know, but guitars are different from each other, so it's hard to tell. But I'm gonna go with definitely yes. This next guitar I'm getting is going to be a maple fretboard. One of those. I think it's gonna be like roasted maple. So I'm into that one though. Practicing does more for sure. Let's see what people on Facebook are saying. Facebook people, you guys got to migrate to youtube.com/Marbin Music and subscribe. That's the place to hang out. You are not wrong, Lou. Practicing is the thing that matters. I need to get a splatter screen or just get back away from the mic. Too close, man. You too close, man. Yeah. Let me crank the output on that mic and get away from it. How's this? Better? Or much worse? Sustain for days. That's right. Cool. What do you guys want to talk about? We can talk about anything. I can show you anything. Doing a backyard tour again, by the way. If you guys want to book us anywhere in your backyard, me and Danny are doing it all of all of May. We got a few shows in Cincy. We're heading down towards Florida. We're going to go to Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee. Got gigs everywhere. Do you like Eric Johnson's strats? I do. I didn't think they were bad. I played a few, and I always thought they did a decent job. Do you have lessons on YouTube? Of course I do. There's a whole playlist there called Lessons with Danny, and there's a ton of them there. Charvel. I played the Guthrie Charvel, and I thought it was badass. They did a really good job with that. I like Robin Ford. Nothing wrong with some Robin Ford. Awesome. I'll check it out. Yeah, cool. And subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you get the notifications. All right. What is an interesting progression to solo over, to practice moving scales, to progression chords? I think when I was maybe a teenager, there was that the second Scott Henderson like REH lesson. It's a great tape. He talked about so much cool shit. It really opened my mind to what fusion is. Where he has the Jufro and the pink shirt. I don't know if you guys remember that. And he's still playing like his Ibanez. And there was a progression there that he started soloing on, and all he did was over kind of a samba groove, or like fast bossa nova, like that kind of thing. He played just a G minor go into a B flat minor, so it was like. So he was just playing over two keys, really, and you could do a bunch of things on those minor chords, but really to start with just playing Dorian on each, and being able to play lines that move through the changes. I think it takes such a long time to build that ability. Maybe start with just voice leading things from the modes. Where you start seeing how things connect in time when you're using a consistent subdivision. What scales do I use to get that outside jazz sound? We can talk about that diminished thing in a minute. But then you get to a place where you have to actually think about what ideas are and how they lay on the fretboard, and how you could connect them and move them to where you're not falling victim to that thing of constantly restarting your idea the moment that the chords change. So if you don't know the fretboard well, the natural thing to do is to just jump back to the starting point where you have some familiarity with the material. So if, let's say, you know Dorian, and you know it as a finger pattern, and then the key changes, you just jump to that beginning point. But that always comes at the cost of what you are doing on the guitar. So even if you're doing something bluesy, you want to find the other notes that would be bluesy in that, same area. So a bluesy kind of thing in G, a bluesy kind of thing in B flat, right? Bluesy thing in G, B flat. So I can find them here, and then you want to ideally find them anywhere to where you can just play ideas that keep whatever makes them themselves going. Right? So if it's a contour thing, like if it's just a line moving up, you want to keep being able to move up, right? Meaning G minor, B flat, minor, right? Descending. But if you're just phrasing stuff that's in an area and has rhythm things in it, right? So that's the idea, just to be able to connect Are there any notes from the scale you tend to avoid? With Dorian, no. Dorian has no avoid notes. Avoid notes in a mode are tensions that are located a half step above chord tones. But in the case of Dorian, the 2 is a whole step above the root, the 4 is a whole step above the flat 3, the 6 is a whole step above the 5th. So nothing is located in that place. What you could do is apply a different minor mode to both these tonalities. Like melodic minor would give you a little bit more of a jazzy sound, right? So So I call them diamonds. That's cool. Yeah. So that's that's a cool thing to practice. Yeah, Deacon, ask around for the. Well, we definitely are coming that way. I have a Roscoe Beck 5-string bass. Love it. Roscoe Beck is a badass, man. He was the musical director for the Leonard Cohen band. And I know he played with Robin Ford and stuff, but I love him from Leonard. Let's see. Somebody asked something about this stuff. What scale do I use to get that outside jazz sound? So I made like this little lesson. It's not really a scale, but it's a trick, right? So there's interesting things about symmetric diminished, right? There's a lot of ways to think about it. And there's a lot of things that it is, you know. The problem with music is that you can point at any theoretical thing and make a lot of claims that are all true about them. Like you could say, oh, all a diminished scale is 2 diminished chords a half step apart. That's true. You can also say all a diminished scale is, a whole half one is a dominant chord with a flat 2, sharp 4, and natural 6. That's also true. You can say it's all half steps, whole steps, half steps, whole steps. That's also true. So true is not the only indicator of how you should think or what you should practice. You should try to find what works. And what works means a way of thinking that ends up... sorry, somebody asked for smoke in the water. All right. So, where was I? Oh, yeah, diminished. So... when you're trying to find something that works, not that's just true, you just got to ask yourself a real question, which is, can I use it? You know what I mean? There's it's like, is it a useful tool to me? So when I am, you're welcome, Gabor. When I'm thinking about soloing, is this something that I could easily grasp and understand? So let's take a place where you would use half-whole diminished, which is, you know, for now, we're not going to try to do it in moving harmony. We're just going to try to apply it on a static thing. Let's just take the key of G and think about a vamp, like a funk vamp. So if I take a look at symmetric diminished, starting from G, half-whole diminished, right? The one that applies to a G7. Now, what I can really do is think about 4 starting points where triads, the same kind of triads, exist in that scale. So I have a G major, which is just the one built off the root. I have a B flat major, which is the one built off the sharp 2. I have a D flat major built off of the sharp 4, and I have an E major built off of the 6th. So now, why are they there? I don't know. I mean, that's what happens when you play a half whole diminished. Those structures are just in the scale. Those are the major triads that are in it. The roots that they start on make up a fully diminished chord, meaning if I play a triad off of any fully diminished chord, that's what I get. Now, the minor triads also exist in the same spots. So I have G minor and G major, B flat minor and B flat major, D flat major and D flat minor, and the same is true for that E minor. So I can play. Now, should I play it that way? It doesn't sound too cool, right? But I could. Now, if I think about what that means, to have a major triad on top of a minor triad, well, the root and the 5th are in common, and then I have the 3 and that sharp 9. If I have both, I call that a sharp 9, not a 3 and a flat 3. And the cool thing about the symmetric diminished is there's only 8 notes in it. And if I play that sharp 9, that triad with a sharp 9 starting off the root, and I play the one starting off of the sharp 4 or the flat 5, skipping the second one, I actually play all the notes that are in the scale. So these two make up all the notes in the scale. And another way of getting all the notes in the scale is playing the other set, B flat and E, right? But it arranges them in kind of a seemingly random order. It's not random, it's the sound of those two arpeggios. The cool thing about studying diminished is whatever I find in any area, the fingering on guitar translates exactly to the next area. So, these patterns. So it's not outside, it's just more intricate patterns in diminished. It's inside diminished, you know. So real outside playing, like a tone row, you know, just sounds like that, like somebody went and took a shit in the middle of your song. But you know, sometimes you have a really great looking guy come and take a shit in the middle of your song, and it might be confusing, you know. You're just like, wow, that guy's shitting on the song, but he's ripped. So don't be fooled. He's still shitting on your song. But yeah. Hey, Francis, how you doing? I want to come back to Bellingham. You guys having gigs over there? I'm guessing not yet. But yeah, let's let me see if I can show you how to apply this a little bit. Schofield backing track. There we go. Can you guys hear me now? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's back. So let's just start with the first major and minor triad, B flat. So B flat major. That's pretty inside. That's just that blues thing. Cool. The next one is a little bit more outside sounding, right? So starting off of the flat 3 or sharp 9, right? It's a D flat track. This is over a B flat track. So this would be my root, right, in this kind of substitution. Here's the sharp 2 of it, E. Here's the 3 of it, F, and then the 5th. It has a sound over that specific root, right? Now that combined with the first one, right? In terms of what it means in the scale, in the B flat, it gives you the sharp 2, right, or flat 3, the flat 5, the 5, and the flat 7 of the key, right? Alright, the next one is real outside sounding, starting on the note E. This is again a B flat 7. So it gives me a sharp 4, a 6, a flat 7, and a flat 2, right? Just these 4 notes, but when you see them as an arpeggio, right? And back to the first one. This is just Osman. This is just something that exists inside the Symmetric Diminished. So the idea is to take 4 major and minor triads and stack them on top of each other. So one off the root, a pair of them off the root, a pair off the sharp 2, and now we're talking about the one off the sharp 4 or flat 5. And that one really pairs nicely with the first one because they complete the whole scale, right? So all the notes of diminished are present if you play the one off the root and the one off the flat 5th, right? You got from the root, you have the root, sharp 2, 3, and 5, and this other one gives you the sharp 4, 6, flat 7, and flat 9. So all right, the last one built off the 6th degree, which is a G. Oh, sorry. Is the most outside sounding one. It has a 6. Oh, let me just start that track again. It has a 6, a B flat, which is a root, a flat 9, and and then a 3. I guess it's not the most, the other one's the most outstanding one. So now it may not seem like much, but to just run through these is just kind of a more what's he doing thing than playing diminished up and down. Right? It just sounds like, I don't know, Mike Stern or somebody. But this sound, a lot of those Scott Henderson runs, right? That's what they end up being. Now, the cool thing about diminished, and let's see, any suggestions for people like me with short fingers when it comes to learning to play guitar? Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like short people in the NBA. You know, learn how to throw the ball from really far away. I guess is the only. I don't know. If you can't reach, I don't know. Play shit that's closer together. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't do something that you can't reach because somebody else can reach it. You know, there's plenty of awesome shit. Love it. I often go back over stuff later. Yeah. But yeah, other cool thing about diminished is, and this is something Scott Henderson talks about quite a lot, which is if you're playing over a B flat, short fingers are a ridiculous advantage for the right hand. Dude, nobody gives a shit how long your fingers are. It's like, I'm not talking to you, Thomas, or Keith. It's not like, it just doesn't matter. What matters is you need to learn how to do a lot of awesome shit, you know, and the awesome shit might be different awesome shit because, you know, you can't reach certain awesome shit that's far away, you know, but there's plenty of information in every octave, you know. Play a lot of seconds. Be the best in the world at playing seconds. So, yeah. In any case, when you're playing over a dominant chord, you can play half whole diminished. But you can also play whole half diminished, which gives you a very different sound, very angry kind of sound. Right? So check out the difference between whole half and half whole on that B flat. It's totally different. One of them really sounds like a dominant, this one. And the other one sounds like this. Whole half sounds much more out. It has less. It doesn't have a major third, for instance. It's really built around that minor chord. But we can take all the same information we just worked out and apply it a half step below. So instead of the starting points being the root, sharp 2, flat 5th, and 6th of the scale, now we're going to start it on the major 7. On the 2, on the 4, and on the flat 6. And play the same thing, major and minor triads stacked on top of each other. So the first one is going to give us this super outside sound. It's just going to be that A with a flat 9 and a sharp 9, or with a sharp 9 and a 3, right? So check this out. So especially if you're playing some B-flat blues shit and then you just play that A, it gives you weird-ass tensions, right? That's the first one. Second one would be C, the one built after the 2. That's pretty cool. The next one would be the one built off of the 4th, which is E flat, right? So B flat, B flat. Here's E flat. That's kind of like playing the 4 chord. The last one is built off of the flatted 6th degree, which is a G flat. Right? So it's pretty cool tools. I mean, they're all over the place. Precision is important with both hands if you can put together. B melodic minor. So if you play B melodic minor, you get altered. And that's more of a transitional sound. You don't really use that when you're playing over something static. You could, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about going either half whole or whole half diminished. But B melodic minor sounds like this. As opposed to right? You could do either. It is cool. Yep. Play inside your own world if you can reach all the strings. Try. Let's see. Yeah. My dad is trying to encourage me to tell the story of the painter Matisse, who lost his eyesight and could not paint finely anymore. So he started doing collages. So take your small ass hands and go make some collages. Yeah. Of course, it's possible to take classes with me. Email me at marbinmusic@gmail.com and we'll find the time. I've been teaching a lot of people from this feed lately. Jesus. Hey, Bustle. Let's see. Do the modes of melodic and harmonic minor matter? I can't hear any difference. Anyways, so do, do the modes of melodic? Yeah, of course they matter. Of course, and sure you can hear a difference. What do you mean you can't hear a difference? I'll play you two sounds. You're not gonna hear it. Here's one sound. And here's another sound. Sound one. Sound two. You don't hear a difference. Or here's. Here's sound one, sound two. It's modes make a big difference. They're just they're totally different vibes. You might not be able to remember what the difference sounds like. Yeah, this was I was melodic minor. Well, I mean, the modes of both of them fit over different types of chords, right? If you take a look at, let's say, the fourth mode of melodic minor, Lydian dominant, you use it to play over dominant chords, right? This sound. Like, let's say I have a song that goes from just a blues, the 4 chord, and then on the 4th chord. That's G melodic minor over C. But if I'm using the 4th mode of harmonic minor, it gives me a Dorian with a sharp 4, right? So that's used in a totally different situation. In the minor blues over the 4 chord, maybe. Compared to. So, sorry, bro, I can't hear the difference. To me, it's rather Dorian with outside notes or just harmonic minor. Well, I mean, it's a one note difference. You could say, does one note difference justify a totally different name? But just you are hearing the difference if you're describing it as a Dorian with an outside note, because that's what it is, right? So maybe in your thinking, you need to just kind of name those more subtle differences. It's just a matter of semantics at that point. You see, because it does sound like Dorian, but just with a different 4. But the question is, if you're going to learn how to use it, you got to find the situations where that note significantly sounds better for a reason than the 4. So let's say I'm harmonizing a G harmonic minor scale, and I'm trying to find the C sounds in it, right? So here's my C minor. But let's say now I have that sharp 4. Dude, I wish I had friends. I'd host a backyard gypsy gig. Yeah, having, friends are, if you like fusion, it's likely that you don't have friends. I've seen that. So, does this sound Dorian? don't you feel like you're like in some Arabian desert? You just ran through a market, stole an apple because your little monkey was hungry, but suddenly you were caught by a scary looking guy with a really big upper, kind of chest area, and he has like one of those crescent looking swords, and he wants to chop off your hand. And then you go walking, you find the lamp, looks really dusty, right? So I don't know if you guys get the reference, but so yeah, it has a vibe to it. But this now, all of a sudden, it's like, holy shit, I'm in New York. Everybody's saying if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, as if that's a good thing. Hardest place to be. Lots of good pizza, and the streets smell like garbage. And everybody acts like there's a reason to be there, right? Very different. So yeah, very different. Yeah. So you do hear the difference, right? Aladdin, New York City. That's one. What a difference one note makes. Yeah. John, I gotta say, with the amount of letters you have in your last name, I would have guessed you're from Greece. Greetings to you too. New York has changed even more lately. I believe it, yeah. Lots of homeless people trying to eat brains. Nickelback Fusion collaboration. I actually never minded Nickelback. I always thought that they were like, they fit perfectly well with the rest of the garbage on the radio. The thing that surprised me was were people who make garbage talking about Nickelback like they're stinkier garbage. To me, it always sounds the same. New York or Chicago style pizza? Come on, New York. Chicago pizza fucking sucks, man. I hate that shit. It's like they're serving quiche and calling it pizza, like, and then act like you're crazy for not liking it. Had a drummer once who told us that his dad took the family to a Nickelback concert, and then his mom caught him making out with like a random person in the audience. And then for years in the van, we'd always like, to piss him off, we'd just be like, look at this photograph. I'm not into places that they, like, did you ever try Connecticut pizza? Oh my God. Like, dude, you don't have your own pizza. Shut up. Just installed 11 gauge strings on my guitar, but I don't know why it sounds muddy. If your guitar does it sound muddy when you play it not plugged in, is the question. And if it doesn't, it means that you need to clear up, that you have a soupy thing going on in your amp. Check your amp settings, and, if the guitar sounds bad when it's like this, right, then you have a problem. But 11s are not going to make your guitar sound muddy. Maybe you just have way too much bass and mids in your EQ section. When I'm running my 412, right now it's running through a 212, but when I'm running my big cab, I keep my bass around 0. If you look at an EQ, that's where people, what bass frequencies on a preamp affect. It's that range of frequency, which is like right between 100 and 200 hertz, depending on your amp. And that's the first place you cut when you're using any sort of EQ in the studio. Can I move to Israel? I am not Jewish. You can try. Tell me what happens. Your tone knob is down on your speaker. Your tone knob is down and your speaker is ripped. Could be. Do you tune a half? No, I don't tune down. I play with a saxophone. I wanted to earlier, but then I realized that it would be confusing for everybody and not worth it. Ohio pizza. Yeah, that's right. Everybody, we were like in Connecticut, so did you guys have Connecticut pizza? Yeah, I was like, that's not a thing, dude. My God, do you have Israeli hamburgers? Incredible. I tune in fourths. Yeah, tune in fourths. I don't know who came up with that shit, but it's like anything that's inspired by a bassist, it's a bad idea. It's like, it makes so much sense. Everything's the same intervallic pattern. It's like, yeah. You know what I think makes sense? Stevie Ray Vaughan. Nah, I don't mean to tell you your kid's ugly. Some people make it work. Listen, man, there's nothing actual geographical about who makes good pizza. You just need to learn how to make a good pizza. It's like saying that New York jazz musicians are better at something. I mean, I guess they're better at talking about being from New York and how it's the only place in the world. But they're not better at anything else. You should try it, though. I tried tuning in fourths for a second. I had a friend that did it, and I was playing his guitar, and I was like, I don't even play in like any sort of odd tunings because I'm not about to relearn this shit. And you know what I mean? It's like, oh, like you play piano. How about just switching some of the strings around in there to make it interesting? It's like, I don't know, man. It makes more sense, I think. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense if you started out that way, I guess, maybe, but I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things, when you inherit a world that's made, after things evolve, you're inheriting an evolved world when it comes to theory, to harmony, to the instruments you're playing. The guitar is, 400 string instruments, Darwinistically condensed into this thing we play. The tuning systems, too. So a lot of these battles have already been had, and it's a question of where you want your innovation to start coming in. So I don't know. In my mind, that's still a part of kind of the axiom, of the things I just accept, and build from there. But hey, if that's where your path takes you, more power to you. Let's see. Holdsworth said it would be better to tune in fourths. It makes sense intervallically. I mean, but don't you like open chords? I mean, in my music at least, like, a lot of that vocabulary of just playing rock and roll and the sounds that sound good on the guitar. I mean, this is one of the things I'm the most allergic to. I will check out that tune. One of the things I'm the most allergic to is this thing that like all the New York guys are saying now, like, well, I never really listened to guitar players growing up. I was really into horn players. It's like, okay, go play a fucking horn, Ellen said that too, and I was never into that. That always rubbed me the wrong way. Like, it's like, so, like, is this some sort of tragic tale about like your dad not buying you the instrument you wanted for some reason. It's like, but I want to play saxophone, Dad. It's like, saxophone is gay, son. You're going to be Randy Rhoads. It's like, I don't want to. I'm going to listen to Coltrane and learn all his lines on guitar. You know, it's just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing. So I was never into that. But also, there is a thing where you're playing an instrument. A lot of your intuition just guides you to doing the things that sound good on guitar. Like, a lot of people are trying to play like Oscar Peterson on guitar right now. But could you imagine a pianist that tries to play like Stevie Ray Vaughan, those lines on piano? It would be retarded because it wouldn't work sonically for so many reasons that are so obvious you don't even need to state them, right? Pling, 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 plum, pling, pling, plum, pling, plum, pling, boom. It's just, it's just, you'll make the notes, but it's not going to sound like anything. So the point is, stop it. Just stop doing silly shit and do shit that sounds awesome. So yeah. How are you? I'm good, Zachariah. How are you? Yeah, and Holdsworth loved the guitar. He's like, I didn't like the guitar. Dude, I was with him in the same room when he played guitar. He loved playing guitar. He loved playing guitar his way. He came up with a nice way of doing it, but, just stop believing in bullshit. Right? It just, yeah. Anyways, want to have a hard time playing, otherwise each chord shapes. Yeah, I'm not into the fourth thing again. It makes much more sense to do like what Derek Trucks does or something and tune to a chord. I really love Alan, but he obviously had a tendency to say certain things to make him look cooler. Well, I mean, I actually, we got to, I mean, I'm not like his best friend, but, I did get to spend a good chunk of time in his proximity when I was, I don't know, 25 or something. And he was really down on himself all the time. Like, I am not that kind of guy at all, like my character, So when we make an album and we're done with it, I listen to it. I'm like, this is the best shit in the world. And then it takes me a while to come down off that. And then I start hating it for a minute. Then I accept it. But he was just so down on any time he touched the instrument, I think is some sort of deep insecurity kind of thing. Like everything he played sounded like garbage to him. So I don't know. I'm much more into myself than he was. But that's just a character thing. I came up with a style of guitar. This is the funniest thing. A lot of the biggest inhibitor of growth that I can think of in the whole world is people trying to find their voice on the instrument. You have a voice on the instrument. You use it every time you play. It's just so shitty sometimes that you won't admit that that's your voice. But if you don't admit, you don't have a place to start working from. There will be a day, if you actually intend to get better, that you're going to have to confront your own playing. Meaning you already have a voice on Stella by Starlight or Giant Steps. You do. It's just not the voice you want. It's just terrible. And you gotta, but that's the starting point for your practice. Is how the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Your voice, that's your voice. It's always been your voice. It always will be your voice. So are you willing to start at the place where you count off the time, and your voice might just be like fuck. Yeah. Well, Alan was the greatest dude to hang out with. He was super nice to everybody else, and he would, just. Or, I mean, again, I wasn't his best friend. Spent a chunk of time with him, but would buy a lot of drinks, tell a lot of stories. Was funny, really awesome. What do you find more limiting, music music or musical ideas or technique? At the end of the day, when you're playing, everything meets. So, you playing is the arena where you test the hypothesis of your practicing against reality, right? So, when you're playing, when everything is supposed to come together, if it's not coming together, you could make you can come to one of two conclusions. Conclusion number one is that you're untalented. Might be true, but it's not helpful. Conclusion number two is that you're practicing the wrong things, or you're practicing the right things in a way that doesn't yield practical tools that translate into ability. So if you are playing and consistently you feel like you're not making any progress and you're doing the same things and nothing is happening, there's no change. You're playing the same way you did a month or a year ago, or you're playing with a different perspective, but it's not sounding any better, then you need to change what you're doing when you're practicing. Thank you, Joe Lang. I appreciate that. Bill is a dear hero of mine. AH practice is shadow boxing and music is sparring. Yeah, I don't know anything about fighting. I think I would lose a lot, but it sounds right. Let's see. My voice on Charlie Parker doesn't happen. Well, it's not true. You will do something, but you're just not happy with that something you do. You might just make a shitty sound that's out of the key, but if you start playing, notes will come out, right? That's just where you're at. Or maybe you'll play a blues scale over the key of the whole thing, attempting to hit some things. So again, the voice is there. It's kind of like you could say that it's when you bring a toddler into like a conversation about political science, which is of course the highest form of science there is, then he's going to say a bunch of nonsense, but he will still make sounds. And if you want to start, you start from your toddler self and work from there, right? That's my point. I have a huge problem letting mistakes go. As soon as I make one, it pulls me in. Yeah, that's you shouldn't make mistakes. I said it many times. Wrong notes. Well, playing music is like driving a car, and wrong notes are like hitting old ladies. If you hit 2 in one drive, that's probably too much. You don't want to hit any. You need to have tools that allow you to navigate without hitting any of these old bitches. I try to sound like an accordion player. Why? I hope that's a joke. Alice, I have been following you for a long time. I do thank you for all your knowledge shared. Just a note of thanks, wishing you all the best. Pete. Alice, I appreciate that. Come join. Why are you on Facebook, though? Come join us on YouTube. The real party is here. It's youtube.com/MarbinMusic. I'm live there right now. Hit subscribe. That's where the heavy chatting is going on. Anyways, what do you guys want to work on? I've been in a Barry Harris hole. I gotta tell you. There's this one video. I kept talking shit about it, but I was like, is there something there? I gotta learn a little bit of what they're doing. It's so weird. It's like I get it. He's a fucking like you watch these documentaries about like a dirty like Indian guru. I'm not saying all Indians are dirty. I'm saying those gurus specifically looked dirty. like, Wild Wild West or whatever it was called, Wild something. Um, and like, the way that an Indian guru that's here to like sell yoga and facilitate orgies works. Uh, he's like always saying, it's like, you have to believe, I have like the truth. And Barry Harris is literally the same thing. It's like he has these minions. And I feel like there's going to be some sort of like mass suicide of like everybody's like six diminished and like explode the compound or something. But yeah, they just follow this dude. And it's so fascinating the way it's like a store where he's selling pre-made jazz things that you need to go and construct your jazz from. And he always, and the way, but it's really a lesson in hypnosis, because the way he does it is he takes iconic people, like, he's like, I hate when John Coltrane used to do this. It's such a bullshit thing. He's like, and that's like, oh, this guy, he can criticize John Coltrane. I need to follow him. He really knows the sound. And then he's like playing, yeah, there's a whole class of people. It's like, beady-dobby-double. And like 50 people are like in unison, beady-dobby-double. That's 5. And then he's like, there's 4, ba-da-dabba-bee-ba, ba-da-dabba-bee-ba. And then it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Am I the only one who thinks this is weird, And then it sucks you in and you're just moving. Next thing you know, you're just fucking moving diminished chords. Let's see. I can't handle people who can't play but only care about gear and equipment. Um, yeah, there's a lot of those. I mean, it's a real business, all the attention now for gear. It used to be Guitar Player Magazine. They fought on real estate in that arena, but now, they're just like, Pete Torn, make me a song that's not a song to demo my compressor. And he's like, sure. Takes me so long. It's so exhausting. And then it's like, just writes. It's like, I wrote a song for this compressor. It's, it doesn't have a name, but it really showcases the compressor. It has this really creative chord progression. And that is music on YouTube. Very funny world we live in. Once you've acquired so much skill or technique, does it get old getting so many questions about the kind of about? Dude, I love helping people with music. Um, just because it makes me rethink a lot of the things. Because what the fuck do I know? I just at the end of the day, all we do is write some songs and play over them and try to sound good. Yeah. Music is a living advertisement. I mean, they're all just, that's what they do. I mean, I, in a way, am in a living advertisement. I advertise Marbin. They don't advertise themselves. They advertise, whatever, JHS pedals or, Vertex. And I don't know. I guess I'm a good guy because Mason doesn't pay me. We're just friends. But I mean, I get it. There's like symbiotic relationships where they really like to have a room full of pedals, and the people are selling them the pedals for free with like a $300 check, and they make a little video. Joke. Let's see. Thank God for all the gear-obsessed folks who can't play. Somebody needs to buy this stuff, and there aren't. My theory and my fear for the big companies like Sweetwater, it's like they need to make a new Guitar Hero. You know what I mean? Like the latest one is what, John Mayer and kind of Joe Bonamassa for fucking boomers, man. Like, who's gonna want to buy a guitar in 10 years? How? I mean, I'm guessing that market has to shrink at a certain point. But I don't know. Maybe now that we're selling our economy to China, maybe all we need to do is have some like Jimi Hendrix marketed there and send the guitars over there. Can you talk? Let's see. Wildwood loves Greg Koch. He does play a lot. Yeah, and he's a good player. And they make, nice videos where the funny thing about good players, though, is that they sound the same over everything. You know what I mean? Like, give me any amp and any pedal, and I will make an approximation of the same sound. That's the biggest joke of all. That's when I go to dial in a sound, all I'm trying to do is get everything to sound like my idea of what a guitar should sound like. And some amps get closer and some amps get farther. But it's never in the gear. It's always in your, there's an amount of gain that I think is what is good. There's a brightness level. If it's like, shh, I'm like, whoa. If it's, turn on the bass. So you're always trying to get the same kind of sound, and you normally succeed. And it's very amazing that people are still like, oh my God, I want to buy that guitar. It sounds like Greg Koch, Do you say Koch? Is his name Koch? Because I never know. Is it Koch? People with names like that. I mean, I would love if it was Koch. Okay. Steve T is a good, I don't know who Steve T is. Can you talk about in what context are you more likely to use a triad versus an arpeggio versus a scale idea? Seems over really fast changes. I don't really think about it that way. The way I'm making choices. Yeah, if I'm playing like a. I mean, the way I see triads, I just see them as the part of the mode, but the arpeggio too, they're not. That's the hardest thing to explain, like the flow of your thinking, how you choose to go from one thing to the other, because it's a mystery. Like, you don't know, anybody who tells you that there's some sort of strategy to this is either delusional about their own choice-making process or insincere deliberately to make it seem teachable. But that's the one thing. The reason licks and theory classes are so prevalent is because it's really easy to discuss it in that frame, right, of the ideas separate from each other. But the hardest thing is how in time you would string ideas together. That's the hardest thing to talk about. Dragomir is here. There we go. Now it's a real feed. Every day. I'm sending a medal to fucking Moldova, I think you said. How do you say Moldova? Moldova. Okay. Let's see. I missed a lot of messages. Minor 6 chords with Barry. Yeah. I feel like, the next thing that cult's going to do is organize some orgies, but they're going to be pretty nasty. I don't know how they're going to get a lot of takers. A whole lot of dudes that practice all day. It's going to be an orgy with dudes with bad postures. Maybe they need to combine forces with the Indian guys so they can have the flexibility of yoga. When Slash crosses over, Gibson may go out of business. Yeah, that is very true. Let's see, 20 virtuoso songs. Yeah, that's a lot of it. Robin Ford always sounds like Robin Ford. I think I'm way back there. Bitone always goes back to the sound I had as a kid. Nicer version. Yeah, you have a sound in your head, and that's what you go for. He said he never played certain chords in rhythm changes. Yeah, rhythm changes is another one people really make a big deal out of. But his amps... Oh, Koch. Okay. It's not the Arrow, it's the Indian. A lot of times, yes. Coke? For real? Coke? Okay, I'm going to start doing that. 22 people here today. Yeah, well, getting real famous. That's how it feels. Making ideas flow on an instrument is a real challenge, in my opinion. I don't want to play and sound like a bunch of individuals. Yeah, that's the hard thing, to just to have the whistling part of your mind turn on, right? Right? To start having, now I'm not saying you need to be a singer, obviously, but there's something in between. It's like singing is the closest we can get to that place. What are you trying to do when you're humming a melody? You're not trying to be a singer, so what is it, right? You're climbing in your consciousness closer to your brain. That's really what it is, right? It's the idea that here is somehow somewhat lower in the idea totem pole, so you need to kind of bring it up. But singers, too, draw from their mind. And your mind is sort of, it plays with the materials you give it. So the mode might give you the right notes, but that's not the whole story, right? The rhythms are a big part, but that's not the whole story. The contours are a big part, but that's not the whole story. How you kind of mix it up in here. And it's okay to have that whole landscape kind of mixed in with the fretboard, but still you need to come up with ideas that sound in the aesthetic, right? 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 It's almost like people don't believe that improvisation exists anymore. You have to convince. It's like, no, I'm really doing it. I'm really doing it, man. Whole lot of love. Is that a song request? Let's see. When Marbin makes it big, first thing I'm doing is buying you all a house. Do you also think that Japan, Korea, and maybe China will take over jazz? Yeah, as soon as they produce one jazz player, that's good. Let's start getting scared. Till that day, I think we're pretty safe. I don't know. Is that racist? Just, I'm not saying, there's a lot of intersectional sects that haven't done it yet. You need one first. Start with one. Jack's recent guitar great that hasn't had much. Steven Schackinger. Listen, man, I'm no publicist, but I'm pretty sure you cannot get famous with a last name like that. I am shortening it. From now on, he will be known as Stefan Sack, like Johnny Sack from The Sopranos. It's too much. People playing live is one of the things that made me realize some of my favorite music to listen to was basically noise for me in a live setting. I just couldn't hear it live. Yeah, that's real. Pentatonic scale A major, play please. All right. Is getting tired on guitar after, let's say, a 4 or 5 hours real, or is it just only me? It's whenever I get tired after 4 or 5 hours, I just switch my temp on, and usually I'm fine. Do you think that it is much easier making a living as a musician when you sing? Probably. Are you using an IR? I'm using both right now, so there's a mic and an IR. Hiromi is pretty good, I have to say. Yeah, Hiromi is pretty good. I don't know the other one, but I think Hiromi is kind of like a Japanese Oscar Peterson-ish lady. But at the same time, do I listen to Hiromi records? She didn't really win me over. I'm saying, I'm not. We all have our tastes in music, right? Can you play Spank Tank? I don't remember how it goes. It's been too long. I don't remember our songs. It's a real problem. It's embarrassing. But yeah, who's Kazumi Wannabe? Wanatabe. Sorry, I can't read. How many live shows can you say that really loved your sound and monitor mix? In other words, you're happy with the live sound. I don't know, 1,000. I'm always happy. I always get a great sound live because I don't use my monitors for anything but sax, and I get the mix of just us playing. That's the secret. Don't fucking overdo it, and you're gonna be totally fine. So, you just want to put what you don't hear in the monitor and make yourself hear it by talking to your band and moving things around and adjusting your volume, not to get a good sound, which is, an insane thing to do. Just get the sound that sounds good with your drummer and your bassist, meaning set the amp where it sounds good to where you can hear it and they can hear it, and then don't put it in the monitor. At what age did you switch from rock to jazz fusion? Decided this when I met Danny-ish, 21. I was really into free jazz for a while. Imagine that. That was great times. Prepared guitar, threw marbles around. It was a real reversion to kindergarten. But then, yeah. You use hybrid picket, but not too much. How do you feel it's basic? I use it to kind of get to, mainly for sound when something needs to be pinched, like. Right, it sounds kind of Dalton. And I think that's kind of like a Stevie Ray Vaughan thing. I always liked how it does that nasal thing. And then sometimes, but I never got into like that whole like chicken picking, whatever thing they call it. I feel like that's for Danny Gatton and gamers. How many gigs does improve you and make you into a good live artist? You shouldn't play gigs to improve. You should want to improve to play gigs. You know what I mean? This whole thing, it's so backwards nowadays with YouTube. But if your dream is to be good at home, it's a fucked up dream. You gotta and it will change once you make it out there. It's about giving it to people. I never get confused about what I want my job to be, which is just playing shows. It's improvising. People are a part of the, it's you kind of, all of your skills and ability reach this culmination point when you just play music. Believe it or not, in Marbin shows, I'm not actually reading comments in the middle of playing the solos, so it goes a little bit deeper. It sounds like Satch Boogie. Yeah, it does a little bit. I don't hear the weird digital noise you sometimes get with double stops when using digital. It's not a digital tone. This is a 100-watt head running through my pedal board. I'm just using the Soar IR box, but it's just going from my speaker out, and then back through the through. Let's see. Did you see Steve Vai's video for his song Candle Power? He came up with a technique called joint shifting. You know, people from that generation, the way they organize music is by technique. You know what I mean? Like, there's no real... A lot of times, the way they section off their solo is not really anything but the place I tap, the place I sweep. So they're in this place where they constantly have to make up new ways of touching the guitar and giving them names. But I'm sure it can sound cool. Let's see. God bless you, Danny. Hey, Mark. Mark, we're coming to Florida. Book us a backyard gig. May. All of you guys, you know, we're going to be playing Florida, and all the way from Chicago to Florida, doing me and Danny just duo stuff, playing standard. So if you want us in your backyard, I know it's COVID special, let us know. I love you and your caps, Mark. God bless you. Not the joint shifting I like. Greg Howe versus Guthrie Govan. Definitely Greg Howe. How many gigs? Oh yeah, we read that. I'll bet he shifted a different joint before he came up with that. Clever. I like that. Is there stuff you wish you could play but can't? If so, what's an example? Yeah, there's constantly, there's very few things I can play. I mean, I can play the Marbin stuff. And I do everything I know how to do there on repeat. Nobody, I hear like Paco de Lucia play, and I'm like, what the fuck? That would have been a nice direction to take my life in. Just like a Spanish pimp, put some chest hair out there, play some deep music, bro. Like get a sophisticated librarian-looking Spanish chick to be really excited about it. It's it looks like a good life, but but then again, I like what I do, so I only read comments during solos. I feel like that's the one leg up I have over Charlie Parker. I think first of all, he would not have understood how the comments are getting there so quickly from all over the world. He grew up with like radio. I don't know. They have toilets back then. I guess they shit somewhere. So, but yeah, it would have been overwhelming for him to read the comments at the same time as playing. You should dress like a Spanish pimp. I know. It's a great look. I mean, I really like. A lot of times I see the way he's dressed, and I'm like, are you sure you don't want like 2 buttons, man? Like you're missing 2 full buttons, not even one. No interest in learning flamenco? Not for the time it takes, dude. I don't want to. I mean, I did that with. No, he looks amazing. I did it with Gypsy Jazz. I started from scratch once, and I made it kind of far. I mean, to say that I'm still as gang-ho about it as I was 2 years ago would be a lie. Any picado skills? I have so little that it sounds like a side in a Mexican restaurant to me. I don't even know what a picado is. I'll be at the Philly show. Promise won't bug you. Oh, you can bug me. Dude, I'm a flamenco player. I can teach anyone. Well, you guys go study with this guy. Syrian's asking, if you hit the melody, how do you hit the pontoon scale when Cond dies? I don't know what that means at all. play some bass when I have to for an album, but just for tracking. I never play it live. I don't think I never played one gig on bass. But I played it on Danny's album, Russian Dolls. How did you prepare to attend jazz school? I was unprepared. I did very poorly in my entrance exams. Danny's tone sounds super stratty despite the fusion tone. Yeah, I'm really into that. Play jazz. All right, why not? Actually, I'll grab my arch stop. Hold on. What is that sound? Oh. Whoa, that was trippy. Took a second to figure that out. All right. Let's do it. Who's Jack Houston? Is that a porn guy? My girlfriend wants to break up because of my lacking knowledge of scales. Any help? That's a tough one. He's been a side character in a bunch of good movies. So I was doing, I'll check him out. He sounds beautiful. Let's see. How high? All of me. I love Here's That Rainy Day too. Maybe I should have kept those leftover dreams. Funny, but here's that rainy day. I love that song. Anyways. down. Yeah. Let's see what's standard. The moon. I'll
Why
play
pay
How
more
High
than
the
you need
Moon.
for everyday little messes? It's kind of like paying more for gourmet.
God, I hate that song. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks for doing these. Feel like I've learned more about music theory than a lot of searching on my own. Oh, cool, Christopher. Appreciate it. Mullet plus tracksuit equals guitar skills. Definitely. Lake Michigan cruise. Yeah. How high the moon? But let's see. What's another? Gypsy jazz backing track. Play this one.
Look at the stars.
I don't play the hard ones. Marbin is Markovich Rabin. So that's a combination of me and the saxophonist's last names. All right. I don't know if you're sick of me, but I'm sick of me. So I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. For those of you watching on Facebook, join us. Join our community at youtube.com/MarbinMusic. Hit that subscribe, ring that fucking bell, and I'll see you probably tomorrow.